back on the Studebaker. When we left off, we tried to seal the leaky radiator and did not succeed. You can see we have some bubblage and it's still wet. That is going to be for a later date now. Either I'm going to smear this thing in JB Weld and hope it seals, or we'll just try to find a different radiator and adapt it in here. Probably go with the adapting the radiator method. We had a dash fire last time, but we got a little jerry rig wire, got it running. No big deal, and we hooked the exhaust up. Well, I want to focus on this hood because I'm tired of taking it off and on, and I'm ready to fix it so it can be bolted back on and can be opened and closed properly. As you can see, where the hood blew off, these brackets are just about disconnected from everything, and they're pretty bent. And bending them back right now is going to be not an option. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pry this out. I'm going to cut right here with a saw, not a sawzall, but a cut-off wheel. Pop this off, put this hood back on the car, bend it back into shape. Along with that side, we'll take them both off at the same time. Bend the hood back into shape, and take these in there on our vise, and bend these around and get these back into shape, and then weld them back on. Will they be closed? Will they be not closed? That's gonna be the real kicker, because all these are bent. We got to fix those. These do look like they move a little bit, so well, you know, it's not gonna have the perfect gap, but as long as the hood closes, because right now we don't even have a hood latch. It's well, it's gone. This was the release at one time, and it went somewhere. I don't have a picture of it. I'll have to find a picture of that. But we're probably just going to do hood pins. Do a hood pin here, and a hood pin here, and that'll hold our hood down just fine. Like I said, not going to be a restored car at all. Not looking to that. Looking for that. Looking to get it on the road and just drive it. Not worried about restoring it. Yes, it's going to be 95% original, and that's going to be cool. It's just going to be an old clunker on the road. And like I said in the other video, my past videos, it's just going to be rolling history. Seeing this thing rolling around is going to blow people's minds, because they're going to think this thing was just pulled out of the weeds. And I have some cool video ideas for when we do get it running, stopping, and doing all the good things a car should do. I think we have some cool videos that I can make with this thing. And who knows? Maybe we'll throw it up on Facebook Marketplace and somebody will come through and buy it and restore this old girl. But until then, let's fix this hood. Okay, got it over here where you guys can see it. I lost my glove. Try to slice these off real quick, and then I think that'll make it a lot easier to bend. Can't really hurt it. It's already pretty messed up, but what we're going to do is, like I said, I'm going to slice it here and here, and I think once I slice it, actually I think if I slice it right here, it almost wants to get attached to that. That's just bent over. Ooh, maybe it's got a spot weld here, so I might just try to grind it out and maybe it'll pop right off. Let's see. No, looks like we're going to have to cut it there. That's okay though. We'll just slice it. We'll slice it. That's okay. Where do I want to slice it? That's the question. Yeah, we'll just slice it right here. Oh yeah. was actually a lot easier than I thought. All right, let's do the next one. Oh no. The demons of the car dropped my phone. See if I can set you back. That'll work. Jam that in there to get some space. And we'll go. A hammer. I'll be right back. All right. Good deal. That was not too bad. Let's go ahead and put the hood back on the car and see how far bent this thing is. Now with the brackets on there off, you can see how they're supposed to work and how far they are off. So this is pretty bent, but you can see right here how bent out it is. So we'll have to take this and beat it in to where we can get this flat, and then that should be ready to be welded back on once we straighten the hood. A little beating and banging. We got it a lot better than it was. This side over here is just about perfect. It does have a little bit of a crease here in the middle where it's going down and then up. But once we get some hinges on here, we can put a board there and slam the hood and it should give it that radius back. Onto the hinges. We are getting there, guys. Look at that, sitting pretty. See how it fits on the hood. Probably still need a lot more work, but we just pressed it with a round piece of tube. Oh yeah, it's getting close, guys. Getting close. A little more pressing on it. We need to bend this area in a little more. And you see where it's separated. Bend this in that way a little. It's sitting in there, getting there. We are making tons of progress now with the press. All right, let's take it back to the press and I'll bend it some more. Using this round piece of tubing, giving it that radius that we need. Oh yeah. I've lost my daylight, so we're gonna stop on tonight and get back on tomorrow. As you can see, this fit me right here. I have the hinge actually laying on there and just the hood on top, and you can see, not perfect at all, but very close, very close. We could probably tweak this hood and that hinge a little more, get that down right there, that corner, and that'll be fine. I compared it to that hinge that we haven't worked on, and wow, that thing is twisted up. So, see you guys in the morning. All right, I got my sunlight back. That means we're back on the Studebaker. Look how nice that hinge fits. I mean, that looks great. That fits pretty nice. And it fits on the hood. See if I can remember what side this goes to. Fits on there okay. I might have to do a little more work on it. Like I said, it's not gonna be perfect. That's pretty close. And we'll probably end up rolling with that. We'll line it up. I'll bend these edges out, slide that back under. This here probably needs to be beat down some, but that's not too big of a deal. That one we're just gonna leave be. It looks pretty good for now. We'll work on the other one. Like I said, I mean, it fits perfect on the cow compared to this one over here, which we haven't worked on. Now remember, these two are just about the same. This one here, there's nothing there's nothing to line up. I mean, it is shot, just like the other one was. And it doesn't fit with the darn on here anymore. So we're gonna go ahead and start beating it around and put this camera down. I'll look at it real good and see which way we need to bend, which way we need to beat to get it back in shape. We brought the hood inside. We're gonna go ahead and weld up these hinges. We got them fitting pretty nice. We got the hinges fitted to the car. The hood is obviously a little mangled still, but once we start tacking, we could bend and shape the hood back to the shape of the hinges. We're basically working off the shape of the hinges now, since I, fitted them to the car. Like I just said, but we're gonna grind this out so we can get some good weld. We're just gonna do some tacks and fit it, see how it fits on the car, and then I'll come back and I'll weld it up a little stronger. But a couple tacks probably should hold this hood just fine. So let's go ahead and time lapse the welding and the fitting. We'll be right back. With a lot of beating, I think we shaped it all right. Obviously it's just tacked. We're gonna go fit it on the car, see if the hinges line up. I'm gonna go ahead and run a die over these because they're pretty rusty and they're definitely going to need basically all the help they can get to catch a thread. We'll see what thread it is. Looks like a pretty coarse thread. Let's see, yeah. 3/8/16. We're going just over them. They're pretty bad. Just went over those. Do these two and go put this thing on the car. And hopefully it fits, which I know it's going to fit. I just sat the hood on there and the fitment, well, the fitment looks okay. It ain't perfect, but it looks pretty darn good. Now we got to fight and try to get these hinges on, which I think is going to be a little bit of a job. We do have to bend that down a little, but we could do that once the hinges are bolted on. So I'm gonna put this camera down and try to bolt this on. It's gonna be hard to film it, but when we come back, the hood will be bolted on. Not the perfect gap like I was saying, but it's on there. This side actually looks pretty close. You won't be able to tell the difference. I mean, look at the rest of the car. But the biggest thing, oh, let me get the finger under here. Look at that. Works perfect. That was definitely a challenge to get those hinges on. With that big spring and not trying to take off your fingers, yeah. Eventually I'll come back in here and I'll throw some more weld on those brackets, but for now, they're not gonna go nowhere. All I gotta do is tighten those nuts and that'll be good to go. Let me put this thing up real quick. You guys are up in the air. Look at that. Good to go, pretty straight. They work. And we have a hood again. I really don't want to put hood pins in this thing just because I don't really care for how they look. And also, I don't know how I'm going to get into this. I think that's in, I had to go in through the fender to drill that, put a nut on there. But, I might try to make up something here to have a latch, maybe go to Pick and Pull, our local junkyard, and see if I could find a hood latch or a picture of a latch that would have been on here. I really don't know. I really don't see what would have held it. I imagine this had something here that's all rotted away. But I guess we need to go on to the next project, and I think I'm gonna go to the store and buy a piece of Lexan that's expensive and make a window, because one, I don't want it leaking in here if I'm going to be doing the wiring and getting it all wet. And we also, you know, we're going to need a windshield. Not really too worried about the side window right now, but the piece I'm going to have to buy, I'll have enough to make one. I'm not too worried about that. When I'm riding around, this window will probably be down anyhow. Also, need to put a little bit of goop on this or weld it up, because that's right into the cowl, and it will be leaking right down on my feet. I don't think I'll ever probably ride this in the rain, but you never know. In North Carolina fashion, it'll be sunny like this one minute and the next minute it's a monsoon. So let's move on to the next thing, and that's a windshield. And also we need to figure out a better fuel system. So let's move on to the windshield. Well, for $110 we have a piece of polycarbonate. Now we just need to take out all the bad glass, get all that out of there and out of the what's left of the seal. Trace this thing out, start cutting it. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge to fit this thing, but that's what the fun of it is. So we're going to go ahead and start pulling the glass out. Got all the glass out, got a big piece of cardboard. Going to make a template, not a perfect template. We're going to, very crude template. It's very hard to hold that up there without the wind taking it away. So I'll cut this line out a little big, try to fit it. We'll fit the cardboard, and then we'll transfer it over to the glass. So with an hour of time, we have the cardboard cut out, slipped in the seal. It's not perfect. I don't know how good or easy or how this is going to work, but we're going to try our damnedest to get this in there. And like I said, if it's a little loose, I'm not really worried about if it drips, or we just need a windshield. And we're going to try worst case, we'll have to make it a two-piece glass and do half glass, put a piece in the middle and seal it, which that's going to be the last resort, because you know, this was kind of very bendable and pliable. This is too, to an extent. So now we need to take this out, trace out our polycarbonate, and start scribing it, and then take the grinder and cut it and kind of shape it around. So I guess let's get to it. Ain't gonna do it self. Well, it's hard to see on camera, but I do have my line traced out. Instead of scribing it, we're just gonna use a cutoff wheel, because whatever. So let's get to it. Getting it close. I just noticed that I did buy plexiglass, so it's not polycarbonate, so it's not going to bend as easy. It's going to break if I twist it too much. So right now I'm debating, I know this is hack, but cutting it out and getting a little better shape and just getting some brown duct tape and duct taping it all the way around for now, until I could save up and possibly buy a windshield for this thing down the road. So that's kind of our dilemma. I might try to get it in the seal, but I just don't think it's going to happen, guys. I kind of, like I said, I'm winging this. It was a $100 board. It's going to be great to make the side window. Don't get me wrong, because that's just flat glass. But this curve, trying to fit it in the seal, well, that's a bit of a challenge. So I'll make that decision here soon and see what we can do. Nobody cares. Work harder. Me and my girlfriend finally got this window in. I was just about to give up, and she told me just hold up a minute before you give up and buy an expensive windshield on a piece of junk. Let's figure it out. We took this old seal out, cut the glass where it kind of fit a little loose, and popped that thing right in. And now, oh yeah, that thing ain't going nowhere. We'll silicone that up, and that'll be good to hit the road. So let's go ahead and peel the clear off of it. Clearer than that. Huh?
So you get the kick out of them.
Yeah. That looks pretty good, damn good. For $100. Well, what a project that was, but it's done, and that's the most important thing. Once it warms up a little outside, which I think we're going to have at least one more warm day this week, I'm going to spread some black urethane all the way around it, glue it in, make sure it dries nice and good, and that window should be fine. I put my weight against it, and I couldn't push it in or anything, so I think it'll be just fine. We're not going to be doing no land speed records in this thing, so that thing will probably never see over 55 miles an hour, even if that. But yeah, so that's going to end the video here, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Right now I'm reading my Studebaker manual that I got in the mail. A lot of good information in here about it. It's the 47 owner's manual for this car. Real good stuff in there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And like I said in the last video, we are one more step closer to getting this thing on the road. I just got the email that the brakes have been sent, the shoes. Everything else is ordered as far as the master cylinder and the brake cylinder rebuild kits. So all that stuff should be coming in real soon. We'll get some brakes on this thing, get it moving around and stopping, do a fuel system. As far as like a gas tank, we'll have to go get some metal and make a trunk pan so we can mount that back there, and patch some holes in the floor and free up some cables. But that's all little stuff, seems like. Now we got a really we did a lot of work in this video, from that fixing that hood, which was a big challenge. That was a big challenge to tackle, trying to bend those hinges back into shape, and the windshield, which I did not think I was going to be able to do, but you know, with an extra set of hands and a little more brain from my girlfriend, got that thing right in. No big deal. Just a lot of cutting, a lot of preparation, and a lot of trial and error. Luckily, we didn't scrap anything, because you know, we were already $100 in it with the sheet, which that's going to make the side window as well, and we'll have all good windows in that car. But hey, we're just clicking on along with this thing, and we're doing it on the cheap side. That's the biggest thing, is doing this cheap where it's affordable, and showing you guys that you don't have to spend top dollar to have a cool car. But we will see you guys in the next video. Happy New Year, and have a good one.